Coming to you live. I'm now.
And spray.
Premier Health Insurance.
New Minister for Lands and Natural Resources vows war on illegal mining will continue.
The government to kickstart land title digitization process this year.
Ahead in business, Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire finalized implementation ruling on maritime disputes by International Tribunal of the Law on the Sea.
And on the international front, a main MDC opposition party in Zimbabwe filed legal challenge against President Emmerson Mnangagwa's election victory.
Stay with us throughout this bulletin. We are streaming all across the world on 3news.com as well as TV3 Ghana. That's on Facebook. In our very first story this evening, all ministers traveling with President Akufo-Addo on his 5-day tour of the Ashanti region have been boxed into rented intercity STC buses. The ministers traveling with the president have been forced to park their state-assigned luxurious vehicles. There's more in the following report.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
This was the president on his Upper East regional tour. Even before he left the region, videos emerged on social media about his long convoy, resulting in a sustained backlash from sections of the Ghanaian public. The concerns stemmed from an earlier promise by this government that they would protect the public purse. It, however, appears the presidency has taken steps to address the concerns. All ministers traveling with the president on his 5-day Ashanti regional trip have been directed to park their luxurious state-assigned vehicles to join 2 rented buses from the state transport company. It is not clear what the ultimate rationale is and how sustainable this would be, but at least for now, fuel guzzling vehicles like the V8s used by ministers accompanying the president have been grounded.
8, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. I have counted 45 4-wheel drives accompanying the president on his tour of the 3 northern regions.
Oh, so this will save us some fuel, at least as a country. But let's still stay with analysis of. They already joined me via Skype is Adam Bona, is a security analyst, and also Professor Justice Barley, who is a public administration expert as well. Gentlemen, thank you very much, and good evening to you.
Good evening. And good evening to your cherished viewers.
Great. Now, let me start off with you, Adam Bona. Now, many have commended this to say that, look, it's going to save us some money. But then, from the security perspective, what will be your analysis of this particular decision to have all ministers traveling with the president go in a bus?
Thank you, and once again, good evening to your cherished viewers. I think it's a no. It's a big no. The president's handlers in terms of security probably might have ill-advised him, but let's wait and see. They might have been, they might have put in some security measures. The simple reason is that why would you want to put our leaders in one bus for such a tour? And if you've ever seen them fly, I don't say drive. They fly past. They run at lightning speed, And if you know, quite recently, one of the deputy ministers, one of the deputy chief of staff, in the president's convoy was involved in an accident, and his vehicle was a write-off. So you can imagine if any of these buses, God forbid, should get involved in an accident, what happens to these leaders? And so for me, safety first, as it is said, safety first. And so under no circumstances should we bus them. I mean, are we in a war-torn country? No, we are not in a war-torn country where they are buzzed and you have, peacekeepers in front and peacekeepers at the back, shepherding them through, war-torn areas. Ghana is a peaceful country, and so this is a no-no. Yeah.
Oh, well, this is a no-no. That's according to you, Adam Bonah. Let me come to you, Professor Bale, now. This is a time when we're talking about the wastage in the government sector, and so then you would have some of these measures being taken to cut down on waste. Adam Bonah is worried about the security implications. I want to find out from you what you make of it. Is it populist? Is it well thought through, something we can sustain?
Well, thanks very much for having me on this. And let me acknowledge my friend on the other side. We haven't met before. But I agree with him on the issue of security, except that, just like he concluded, that Ghana is not a war-torn country, and therefore sometimes I think we exaggerate the extent to which people
Absolutely the point. Now, Prof, if you can hear me, I don't want to have you position yourself just a little better so we can hear you clearly.
And I have particularly, hello?
Right.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you clearly now. You can make your point now, sir.
Sure. So what I was saying is that if we stayed by the numbers, and as the video, the footage you showed, people are counting 40 plus V8 vehicles that are running at top speed and wasting all of it, and all of that which comes with this. And so to me, I think it's important to look at what it is that the president is trying to say. I am not sure that it was keeping it just on this. I don't think it's significant savings to be made on this single trip if we bus them. But I think this sends a certain signal to people that the president is mindful of how much money we spend, and if we can save every little pence or penny, I think it's useful to save. Let's look at the broader picture of the extent to which the communication out there is sent out to people and the way people complain about the numbers. For me, it's worrying. In the first place, do we need all of these ministers to follow a president to a particular place? I don't think so. And so if the president instructs that, look, if you want to come along with me, come in the bus. If somebody doesn't need to go there, they shouldn't go. But I agree with my colleague that...
I'm going to hold you on to that particular point about the necessity of having so many ministers follow the president. I mean, from a public administrative perspective, how necessary is it to have 40 ministers or 30, 20 follow the president? Does it really needful?
It's completely unnecessary. It's completely each of these ministers that go along with the president can on their own tour any region at any time and would be able to inspect what it is that they want to inspect. If the president go on tour, he specifically doesn't fix problems on those tours. So elsewhere, what I've seen happen is that if the president goes somewhere and there are issues that need to be dealt with, those issues are collected and channeled to the ministries or the ministers who have responsibility over those issues. So to be honest with you, I don't think the president requires a huge team to go along with him. It's obstructive, it is opulent, and it is sometimes a smack in the face of the ordinary Ghanaian people who are poor and are waiting to see the state will spend money on something profitable. So yes, I don't think it's necessary, and I think that asking them to travel in a bus has a number of benefits. One of it is that it's going to make it very uncomfortable for those who think they can go and flex around. And so if you necessarily don't need to be there, you won't have to be there.
Great point there. Now, Mr. Bonner, let me come to you now. So your point is to conclude, we cannot sacrifice safety for savings because we want to save. So then what do we do so that we can actually have a win-win situation, so that we can still save money out of the waste, and then also have ministers being saved if they really necessarily have to follow the president?
Yes, I can hear you, but I think there is another voice there. There's something very loud. I can
Yes, is it better now? Yes.
Okay. Yes, I mean, we have to be. You had what my colleague on the other side said. For me, why do we have the regional ministers? We have regional ministers, we have deputy regional ministers, we have MCs, and these are regional representatives of the president. These are people who represent RegSec and DISEC in terms of regional security council, in terms of council. We have the regional highways and all. And so for me, I think buzzing them to me is let's cut down on the number of ministers who follow the president. I think it is chaotic. I did get Brian Akamfo speak on another network this and he said it's chaotic, and it's something that we are trying to experiment now. So for me, you cannot experiment with security. Don't experiment with security. You want to throw a bomb, and throw it back. But when you come where people are and you throw bombs and say you're like, very high. And so for me, I shouldn't. And I hope that it will. But I will leave it for the leadership.
Great point there. Thank you so much, Adam Bonner, for your time this evening. I'm indeed very grateful. Professor Justin Bali, thank you so much for your time as well. Great. Adam Bonner is a security analyst also joining us, and then Professor Justice Bali is the head of the Safety and Public Administration Department at the University of Ghana Business School, joining us via Skype for some analysis.
Absolutely, Alfred. Now, we'll stay in issues relating to the president as a deputy chief of staff at the presidency, Abu Jinapor, has justified the recent ministerial reshuffle by President Akufo-Addo. The following news desk report takes a look at the changes in the cabinet of the president.
There's little doubt that the new renegotiated Ameri deal, which cost the former sector minister Boakye Jako's job, reignited the debate for the president to reshuffle his ministers. John Peter Amewu, the new energy minister designate, said his duty will be to ensure that electricity is available and affordable to all Ghanaians.
Power sector is very key. The petroleum sector is key. And so we expected that if we are able to stabilize, make power more affordable to the citizens, those areas that have not been accessible for power, we are able to grant them affordable electricity. Then, of course, the growth that we are expected, to see will become very, feasible for everybody.
Former Deputy Minister of Information, Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah, has been elevated to Information Minister Designate. He dismissed claims that his former boss, Mustafa Hamid, has been demoted in his new position.
It was the Honorable Dr. Hamid who told the President, when the President asked him that choose one out of the deputies that I'm going to give you. You choose one slot, I'll give you a few more. He mentioned my name without a doubt. And when he came here as minister, as I worked with him, he's the one who literally taught me political communication. And indeed, when the President assigned him a new role that he was going into and asked him, who can replace you, again, he mentioned me.
Minister Designate for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Cynthia Morrison, says she's not a feminist and that she is with the men.
I'm not a feminist, so the men, I am with you. I don't have a brother. My mother did not have a biological brother for us. My father had, but my mother did not have. But because I didn't live with my brothers, our home was a girls' home. I like to bring boys together. So the men are going to work together. We'll make sure that you get your due.
Deputy Chief of Staff at the Presidency, Abu Jinapor, has defended the president's decision to move the former Zongo and Inner City Development Minister, Boniface Abubakar Sadiq, to the office of the vice president.
In the wisdom of the president, Mr. Boniface will help the vice president enormously in realizing his mandate, and that mandate is quite large and demanding.
The new ministers designate will soon be vetted by the Appointments Committee of Parliament.
The Institute of Energy Security, Parkwesi Anamwa Sechi, wants the new Minister of Energy, John Peter Amewu, to tackle problems in the upstream sector of the petroleum industry. The Institute also wants the new minister to make a statement on the Tamale refinery and come out with a policy statement on it.
I have no doubt about his capability, knowing well that he's coming from the background of ASEP. What is left is how he's going to engage and ensure that he doesn't work alone, but he has the right team to work with, a team that they get their corporations right and it's not misled. We are rather expecting that when it comes, we want to see drastic changes, especially upstream and in the power sector of the energy landscape. The downstream is a bit okay. We want him to make a statement on Tamale refinery. What's the policy direction? We want him to look at how we award contracts. When I relate it to the oil field, I want to see transparency. We want to see openness. We want to see value for money. When we come back to Ameri, we want to see something positive made out there. And so we know it's a daunting task for him, but then when he has the right team and he has the right attitude towards this, he will deliver.
An MTN video report tonight. We go to Bad Rose in Chifo Amaso, where our citizen journalist brings us some details.
This is the state of Chifo Amaso to Dunka Road. Vehicles are locked down here because of the deplorable state of the road. Passengers are compelled, as you can see, to walk a mile away from the spot to their destination. Please, we are appealing to the state, the government, to come and help us. People of Amaso, yes, people being passengers who ply this route are really suffering. This is Christian Toku reporting from Chifo Amaso.
You can also send your MTN video report to us as a citizen journalist on 055 1433 044 055 1433 044. Live on News 360. We're back to some more news. Do stay.
This is News 360 and it's time for business. My name is Nanikria Mensah Brampa. Beginning with tonight, the Ghana Statistical Service has set August 15 as the release date for the rebased Consumer Price Index, that is the CPI. Rebasing the CPI has become necessary in order to capture current consumption and expenditure patterns.
The Ghana Statistical Service has rebased the Consumer Price Index CPI. Base year of the CPI has effectively changed from 2012 to 2017. Other important changes in the CPI are a change in the basket of goods from an initial of 267 items to a current 400 items. The new CPI also takes 44 markets nationwide into account.
Anytime that the consumption pattern or the population of the country changes, we also need to rebase the CPI so that the CPI always reflect the actual goods and services that people are buying. It will be accurate, and then whatever it is used for, also it will do that work very accurate. Though as to how the numbers are looking out, official statistical protocols will not allow us to give it to anybody.
The rebasing of the CPI comes with improved methodology and the use of electronic devices for timely data capturing.
We have increased the use of ICT, especially we are now using digital scales on the market to measure the weight of the items we price. We have also introduced this tablet, which is a digital computer that we take to the market to do the price correlation in the market.
In Ghana, the Consumer Price Index measures changes in the prices paid by consumers for a basket of goods and services. Inflation is calculated based on the changes in the Consumer Price Index.
Let's talk taxes now. And the Ghana Revenue Authority is set to review the country's tax exemption laws to address revenue loss. Now, Commissioner in charge of Domestic Tax Revenue Division, Kwesi Jima Asante, says this will minimize the number of exemptions granted and enable government meet its revenue target. The mid-year budget review revised the government's revenue targets from 51 to 49.6 billion cedis. The comments come at a time when the government is enforcing its tax laws. According to the authority, the wholesale exemptions from multinationals and other groups have resulted in exploitation, where some beneficiaries eventually evade taxes completely. The Commissioner in charge of Domestic Tax Revenue Division, Kwesi Jima Asante, believes the move is the best option to reduce exemptions granted.
Before a company is granted exemption, you need to make sure that it's within the law that is put in place. And the situation is to be able to address all the exemption issues, be it to individuals, to multinationals, or any other group of people or businesses that are applying for exemption, to ensure that the volume of exemptions that are granted are brought to the barest minimum.
Government in 2017 instituted an administrative measure which required exemption holders to pay in advance all applicable import duties and taxes and apply for refunds with supporting evidence. The 2018 budget also highlighted efforts to making concrete changes in the tax policy framework, particularly on tax exemptions. Commissioner General of the GRA, Emmanuel Kofi-Nti, says discussions are ongoing with government on the review of some clauses of the tax exemption laws.
And for some of them, there may be sunset clauses and the duration for the exemption. The tendency has been to have specific exemptions. But then we are looking at a situation where within the law itself defines the areas, and people do not come out and be asking for special treatment.
To the banking sector now, and the newly established Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited, CBG, has overtaken Ecobank Ghana Limited to become the second biggest bank by branch network in the country. Now, there's more in this report. The operations of 5 Eswell banks, CBG's location points came up to 175 in 9 regions. CBG's presence across the country, however, trailed GCB Bank Limited, which has 183 location points in all the 10 regions. This means that in terms of branches, GCB Bank tops the list, followed by Consolidated Bank and GN Bank in that order. It is, however, not clear how the ranking will play out in terms of total assets. This is after consolidating the operations of 5 banks, Unibank, Construction, Royal, Sovereign and Beige banks, whose licenses were withdrawn on August 1 and their good assets and all liabilities transferred to CBG. It added that following the consolidation of the operations of the different banks, there will be absolutely no loss of customer deposits, as they were able to meet requirements through their various branches and channels. It explained that the banks start its operations on a strong footing and thus intends to use its size as well as knowledge and vast experience of staff to support large and small businesses across the country, play its part in ensuring a stable financial sector, and finally support the industrialization and economic transformation agenda of the government. Right, so you will have the detail of these and more on our website. It's 3news.com, but that'll do for the business segment tonight. My name is Nanikia Mensah Brampa. Alfred is standing by with more.
Well, thank you, Nanikia, for business. Now, some community leaders at Sukura and Sabon Zongo in Accra have asked the new Minister of Inner City and Zongo Development, Dr. Mustafa Hamid, to assist them to recruit Islamic teachers for the study of the Arabic language. They contend that the lack of these teachers has resulted in most of the awards departing from the Islamic faith and indulging in social vices. Meanwhile, they've asked the minister again to assist them to demolish houses on their inner roads to create a thoroughfare for vehicles.
The first port of call by the news team was Shukura, a Zongo community located on a Dansoman Flamingo Road. The mainstay of residents in this community is the operation of commercial vehicles, trotro, and other businesses. The community is faced with commercial and private drivers who park vehicles on the shoulders of the road. The residents were again concerned about the lack of job opportunities in the area, resulting in unemployment. This, they argued, has forced some of the youth to indulge in social vices. They proposed to the new Minister of Zongo and Inner City Development, Dr. Mustafa Hamid, to assist them resolve the problems and also improve on the education system.
Saturday and Sunday to learn more Arabic and the Quran and about their religion. The teachers too, they bring something, they should come for studies. Then you see, before the following week, then you can see that he missed Arabic school like only 1 month and something. All this thing is paying us.
Our people are smoking too much. Ganja and tramol and this thing, they create base, which evening time we don't have free. You are afraid. Maybe you pass here, you see them, you pass here. So if you come to help us there, you have to tackle these issues.
It has to bring security along.
Yes, we need security here.
Our environment is too dirty. It's too dirty. So if he can put more pressure on on the environmental minister, so to do what? To have a look of those things.
At Sabon Zongo, a community located on the Abosoka and Dansoman stretch, residents were worried about encroachment on their roads. Some residents in the area currently conduct bricks business on the roads, thus impeding vehicular movement. Again, the lack of a thoroughfare for vehicles and inadequate teachers for the Islamic schools were a major setback. They pleaded with the sector minister, Dr. Mustafa Hamid, to act swiftly in resolving these challenges.
Sundays like this, we always have a lot of activities here. So when the drivers take passengers to the other destination, the road has been blocked. So if Mustafa can be able to come here to see for himself what he himself can do, I think we will like it.
So many people have went to Makaranta, they can't speak Arabic. If he also can help us with that, to bring more teachers, to put inside some Makaranta, it will help us very much. And we too will appreciate.
The President, Nana Akufo-Addo, has currently appointed Dr. Mustafa Hamid as the Sector Minister for Zongo and Inner City Development.
In some other news this evening, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia says government is working to kickstart a land title digitization process at the latter part of 2018 to reduce or curb land-related issues or litigation. He said government has already begun consultations with geographers and other stakeholders on a digitization process. He was speaking at the annual conference of Ghana Geographers Association held at the University of Education, Winneba.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, touching on the land title digitization process, said Ghana would need a new land map survey conducted. This may take place in November this year to pave way for the land digitization processes, adding the last time Ghana had a land map survey was in 1974. He said recruitment on this is being done under the Nation Builders Corps. The Vice President noted that the introduction of Ghana Card will help the country identify taxpayers and tax defaulters. He emphasized that the property addressing system is now available and everyone must download and know his or her address according to the Ghana Post GPS address. Dr. Bawumia said, in all cases of national development, geography has been the primary concern of the NPP government. He stressed the need for job creation in all parts of the country in order to reduce rural-urban migration. Formed in 1958, the Ghana Geographers Association is the official organization for professional geographers. President of the association, Dr. Ishmael Datson, noted the association has been organizing training programs and seminars. Acting Vice Chancellor of the University of Education, Winneba, Very Reverend Father, Professor Anthony Aful-Broni, underscored the significance of geography in people's lives.
Now, Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire have brought to finality implementations of the ruling on the maritime dispute by International Tribunal of the Law on the Sea, that's ITLOS, speaking at the closing ceremony to adopt an implementation roadmap of the ruling. Attorney General Gloria Kofo was optimistic this will deepen the ties between both countries.
In 2014, Ghana took the case to ITLOS to dispel claims it has encroached Cote d'Ivoire's marine borders as part of oil exploration activities at Cape 3 Point off the shores of the Western region. The Special Chamber of ITLOS, in a unanimous decision on Saturday, September 23, 2017, ruled that there has not been any violation on the part of Ghana on Cote d'Ivoire's maritime boundary. A 16-member committee was established from both countries to develop a roadmap for the implementation of the ruling. The committee held its first meeting in May to develop the road and is back in Ghana to test the technicalities of the roadmap. A major feature in the implementation is a plotting of the 7 boundary coordinates as stipulated by the ruling. Attorney General Gloria Kufu explained that the coordinates of the ruling has been adhered to by both parties.
A decision has been rendered, and that has put paid to the dispute regarding our common maritime boundary. These meetings really essentially are about implementing the decision of the tribunal. So what is it? The tribunal provided coordinates, that is directional points that will enable us identify that line in the sea that separates the waters of the two countries.
Senior Minister Yao Safmafu, who is chair of the committee, lauded both sides for their commitment in peacefully implementing the ruling.
The ITLOS decision was a decision arising out of litigation. So yes, now everything in terms of that litigation is brought to rest. But we have agreed, based on the ITLOS decision and definition of the coordinates, to have the boundary drawn.
The technical teams on both sides are expected to begin plotting the coordinates of the ruling in the coming days.
You're watching News 360 all across the world. You're watching us on 3news.com. We've got some news from the world of sports coming up shortly. Stay with us. Welcome back to News 360. Before we turn to the world of sports, some more news this evening. The incoming Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Kweku Asama-Treme, has cautioned illegal small-scale miners not to rejoice over the recent government reshuffle. The outgoing Bono Ahafo Regional Minister insisted the fight against galamsey is a government initiative, hence will be strengthening the fight in the mining sector.
The first major reshuffle by President Akufo-Addo since assuming office in January 2017 was greeted with mixed reactions. The reshuffle saw the president sending the Lands and Natural Resources Minister John Peter Amewu to the vacant Energy Ministry, whilst the Brong Ahafo Regional Minister Kweku Asama-Treme takes over his portfolio. This, many believe, might change the fortunes of the fight against galamsey, but the two ministers think otherwise. Speaking on an Accra FM station a day after the major ministerial shake-up, the incoming Lands Minister Kweku Asama-Treme urged Ghanaians not to entertain any fears. Asama-Treme maintained anybody rejoicing over Peter Amewu's transfer will be mistaken because he will continue the fight against galamsey. Hayworth corroborated his predecessors when we asked him how he feels leaving an unfinished fight against Galamsey.
Well, interestingly, what people don't know in this country is that this government is one of the collaborative government ever in the history of this country. We work as a team, and that is what His Excellency the President always, impress upon his minister. So it's a teamwork. So you see one minister in another place playing a supporting role to the other. So it's a collective responsibility. We don't see ourselves as a single minister, responsible and delivering. So that collaborative effort, of course, will be there. And whatever expertise I have, leaving this ministry, of course, I have to help my colleague. Chairman is a very good minister. He's been in the BA, he's been a former regional chairman, it's a lawyer by profession, and he has all the caliber to deliver where that he's been asked to come. So we need to give him the necessary support.
These are clear indications of what to expect in that sector. But as one expert put it, words and actions are two different games played on different fields with different rules.
We apologize for that technical hitch. Now, on entertainment tonight, we zoom in on veteran highlife musician Akwesi Agyapong as she tries to save Ghana's face in terms of sanitation. Akwesi Agyapong was born on 17 November 1969 in Accra, Ghana. Agyapong began singing at an early age and was discovered by highlife artist Nana Mpedu in the 1990s and has since been consistent in the industry. She is regarded today as a highlife legend. Our celebrity for today deserves some accolades as she has embarked on a national sanitation project, referring to herself as Garbage Woman. She vows to bend over backwards to see that this project rids the streets of Ghana of filth. Although Ghana is held in high esteem for several reasons, the country has been ranked the 7th filthiest country in the world. This, Akwesi says, breaks her heart. The project, which was commenced at Malam Market, has received massive backing from Ghana's strongest sanitation company, Zoomlion. Great work, Akwesi. Away from filth, there is a growing trend of tramadol abuse amongst Kenyan youth in some parts of the country, which is quite alarming. Songwriter and rapper Sasko has written and produced a song titled Say No to Tramadol to help curb this menace.
Shout out to my people. Yes, people, telling you to give me my ring.
Many people sell their property or subject themselves to any means to sustain their drug usage. Recently, drug abuse seemed to have notably drifted from the lab and into the hands of folks with no idea of its effects on their health and to their sense of reasoning. One such drug is tramadol, an extraordinary cough mixture. Young songwriter and rapper Sasko released a song titled Say No to Tramadol to help curb the menace. He stated that the song is gone a long way to fight tramadol abuse.
The abuse of the tramadol was, we are from the ghetto. Okay. Yeah, so we see what is going on. Right. You understand? So after this campaign and stuff, the youth listen to us. When we talk to them, they listen fast. So I think this song has an impact on the youth. It has reduced.
The Makoma hitmaker further added that some renowned people in the industry like the song and have commended him for his initiative.
I've got messages from big men in Ghana. Even the musicians, they like the song, and the creativity.
That's a very familiar rhythm, but the content, of course, is quite different. Well, that's about it for entertainment news tonight. My name is Miriam Osei Adjuman.
Oh yes, certainly, Miriam. We'll see how far that song goes to end the use and abuse of tramadol. You're watching News 360. We've got a bit more coming up for you. Stay with us.
Right on. Just want to say thank you so much for spending your 60 minutes with us. Before we go, let's take a quick recall of the headlines for tonight.
New Minister for Lands and Natural Resources vows war on illegal mining will continue.
Government to kickstart land title digitization process this year.
In business, Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire finalize implementation of ruling on maritime disputes by International Tribunal of the Law of the Sea.
Main MDC opposition party in Zimbabwe file legal challenge against President Emmerson Mnangagwa's election victory. Thank you. On behalf of the rest of the team, we're grateful. My name is Alfred Okansi.
And I'm Natalie Force. Visit our website. It's 3news.com for some more news. Thanks so much for watching. Have a lovely evening and a great weekend.